have many things to be grateful for. I mean, after doing 26 years in prison and to be able to come home and be able to do what I love doing, which is writing and communicating and trying to help as many people reach their highest potential. I use the same strategies out here that I used while I was in prison. That's to get up super early in the morning. That is to start my day by journaling and describing what I'm going to do with my day. And that allows me to stay focused. I want you to stay focused. I know that there's a lot of negativity around you. I know that there are a lot of people trying to pull your attention, but you've got to be thinking about all the challenges that await formerly incarcerated people. There are many homeless camps across America filled with people who never thought they would face a challenge earning an income. And that, of course, leads them into decisions that sometimes bring them back into the criminal justice system. We want you to prepare for success after prison, and that's why I'm glad you're going to stick with us for the next lesson in our program.
You know, it's super hard to live in gratitude when it feels like everything has been taken away from us. But if we can find the way to show our gratitude and the appreciation we feel for the blessings that come our way, I've learned that more blessings come our way. And that's what our lesson is about today. I am Michael Santos, the founder of Prison Professors, and I'm really glad that you are working through our course, Preparing for Success After Prison. If you want more resources to help you in this self-directed way, make sure that you look through all of our courses that we offer inside of the prison or on the Adovo tablet. Look at our premium courses. You need to invest in yourself to position yourself to overcome all the challenges ahead. Let's stick with the next lesson right now, which I'll turn to and start reading. So, lesson 15 is on appreciation and authenticity. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Self-acknowledgement and appreciation are what give you the insights and awareness to move forward toward higher goals and accomplishments. That's a quote from a former president, John F. Kennedy. Now, I want to continue with the lesson. In earlier lessons, I wrote about how I would have liked to have received this message of self-directed learning as an adolescent. I would have made better decisions, choosing friends and role models that would have inspired me to make better decisions going forward. I would have made decisions that led to success rather than multiple decades in prison. I offer that personal insight because I am determined to be authentic. I will never ask anyone to do or say anything I did not do or say while serving my sentence. To move from struggling to better times, we must live authentically. I would not be authentic if I didn't disclose my many failures as an adolescent and student. Ironically, I didn't develop the mindset of success until a jury returned a guilty verdict and a federal judge sentenced me to serve a 45-year prison term. As this course reveals, it is never too early and never too late to develop a success mindset. If you are living in challenging times, contemplate steps you can take to be authentic. And think about how those steps reflect an appreciation for the blessings that have come your way. Learn from masterminds. World leaders like Mahatma Gandhi inspired me, and I am confident his message can encourage anyone. Regardless of where we are, Gandhi tells us that we can create our happiness. To create happiness, we must keep our thoughts, words, and actions in harmony. As I learned from Gandhi, we should make decisions showing that we are the change we want to see in the world. I strive to be the change I want to see in the world. To earn trust, I live authentically. That isn't to imply that I don't make bad decisions. I am a human being, conditioned by having served 26 years in prison. I have made good decisions and I have made bad decisions. Those decisions have led to great experiences and challenging experiences. In 2018, for example, I made an investment that led me into a civil lawsuit. Settling that suit wiped out $3 million in equity I had built since getting out of prison. Rather than being angry at what I perceived as a great injustice, sang-froid helped me accept that I must live in the world as it exists and not as I want it to be. With a commitment to transparency, I published records from that lawsuit on my personal website at michaelsantos.com. We will always face more challenges, and we must always be ready to overcome those challenges. I felt grateful to have the confidence to rebuild. Lessons from masterminds helped me to develop that self-assurance. Lessons in this course will help participants develop self-actualization. We self-actualize when we know that we are making progress. Our success becomes self-evident, as everyone knows we have conquered a challenge. When we are successful, we know we show appreciation for the lessons we learned. We share those lessons with others so they can become successful too. Why pursue this path? I want people to avoid prison, and I want people in prison to leave that environment as success stories. A success story means someone isn't running from the law or anyone else. A success story implies an individual can keep his head high with dignity intact. Those who pursue success realize the influence of every decision, seeing the opportunities and threats, the strengths and weaknesses in every choice they make. Strategic thinking, or the mindset of success, may help a person from the time they enter jail. It may guide adjustment strategies as days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and years turn into decades. A person's plan may lead to a more fulfilling outcome, regardless of where or when an individual begins. Steve Jobs paraphrased the famous artist Picasso, who said, "Good artists copy ideas, but great artists steal ideas." To write the Straight A Guide, I stole ideas from masterminds. Participants that want to develop the mindset of success may use the same strategies of stealing ideas from masterminds. Masterminds always identify values, set clear goals, pursue success with the right attitude, have aspirations for the success they want to become, take action steps, hold themselves accountable, stay aware of options, and make others aware of their commitment to success, live authentically, developing tools, tactics, and resources, celebrate every achievement along the way, and show appreciation for the blessings that have come their way. I recommend that you take this time to develop your own critical thinking by responding to these questions. Number 1, how would you describe the steps that led to your current predicament? Number 2, what differentiates your preparation for success from others? Number 3, in what ways does your adjustment strategy resemble the way of masterminds? Live authentically. Participants that adhere to the Straight A Guide path become authentic. They don't talk about wanting to be successful. Instead, they pursue a path they designed with their values and goals. They understand how a documented strategy would advance their prospects for success in all areas. Since writing the earlier version of this course, I have built many businesses requiring me to work closely with companies' leaders. I am grateful for each lesson that I learned from leaders. Like the 10 principles identified above, the CEOs with whom I work teach that building a great company requires leaders to identify a problem to solve, define the best possible outcome, document a strategy that will resolve the problem, create tools, tactics, and resources to succeed, execute the strategy every day, and measure progress and adjust as necessary. We all can follow such principles to become the CEO of our life. Anyone can self-actualize, making success self-evident. We don't need anyone else to say we're thriving. Living by our values and goals, we experience success every day. Each of us has made bad decisions and good decisions. At any given time, we can choose to learn from those decisions. We can choose how we define success. Then we can begin to make deliberate decisions. Our choices and actions reflect our values and goals. They take us from where we are to where we want to go. We know we are successful when we are living a values-based, goal-oriented life that keeps everything we say in harmony with everything we think and do. Define your life with thoughts, words, and actions. Let those thoughts, words, and actions reflect your commitment to success. Being authentic. The supplemental books and videos to the Preparing for Success After Prison series share stories about other people that conquered struggles. They may have made bad decisions at different stages of their life, but they all chose to become better. They all decided to draw a line in the sand and work toward conquering the struggle. They began by defining success. People that succeeded define success with their values. They set clear goals to show their commitment to success. They had the right attitude. Their aspirations helped them to visualize success. They took incremental action steps and held themselves accountable. They became aware of opportunities to seize, and others became aware of them. They celebrated small achievements, and they were authentic. Sean Hopwood. You can see an example of someone who adhered to the Straight A Guide's principles by reading the story of my former partner in prison professors, Sean Hopwood. Sean authored Lawman, my story of robbing banks, winning Supreme Court cases, and finding redemption. His story shows that regardless of bad decisions a person has made in the past, it is never too late to build a better future. Sean's book reveals how he made terrible decisions as a student, choosing friends that led him into trouble. While in his late teens, Sean experimented with drugs and robbed banks, and he served 10 years in federal prison after he pleaded guilty. While in prison, however, Sean made a choice. He chose to learn and to become more than his past. Because of Sean defining success differently, he learned the law. Then he started to help other people in prison. He made a 100% commitment to learning how to read the law and research the law. Sean acted, learning how to write persuasive legal arguments. He held himself accountable by devoting time daily to improving his skill. Anyone could choose to follow Sean's path. Sean kept his head in the game. He stayed aware of opportunities in the law that he could use to help others. Sean celebrated achievements when others won victories in court. Through his work, he contributed to winning cases in district courts, appellate courts, and the United States Supreme Court, all while he served his prison term. Because of Sean's commitment to success, while serving 10 years, opportunities opened for him. When he got out, Sean finished college. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation awarded him a full scholarship to attend law school, and the University of Washington awarded him a law degree. He accepted his first job as a clerk for the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. Then, Georgetown Law School made him a full-time associate law professor. Sean's story shows how a person could choose to build a better life. He is authentic, and his success is self-evident. He shows his appreciation for the blessings that have come into his life. Others become aware of his commitment to volunteer hundreds of hours of community service. President Trump invited Sean to work with the White House on prison reform, and he became instrumental in passing the First Step Act, which applied to all people in federal prison. Like Sean, everyone on our team at Prison Professors strives to bring systematic improvements to social justice issues, including sentence reform and reforms to our prison system that will lead to better outcomes. With the courses we offer, we ask each person in prison to join this effort to build safer communities and more effective systems. First, however, we ask participants to invest in themselves. Learn to document a strategy for personal development and show appreciation by helping others along the way. Develop a personal release plan that will lead from struggle to success and create accountability logs that define the daily progress you are making. To improve the outcomes of our nation's criminal justice system, we must persuade leaders that all justice-impacted people can use their time inside to prepare for success. Our team at Prison Professors will strive to push for the following reforms. More incentives that will encourage all people to work toward higher levels of liberty. Access to social furloughs to maintain community ties. Access to work release programs that will prepare people to live as contributing tax-paying citizens. Broader access to compassionate release or commutations of sentence, and reinstatement of the U.S. Parole Commission. To accomplish those goals, we need to influence leaders and legislators. If we can show how people in prison are building effective release plans that help them prepare for success upon release, we advance advocacy efforts. Some may feel cynically about the possibility of succeeding with those efforts. We faced that same cynicism when I wrote Earning Freedom, which encouraged reforms that would lead to earned time credits, as we see in the First Step Act. Incremental steps lead to successful outcomes. Take some time to develop your critical thinking. Answer the following questions. Number 4, what reforms would you like to see in the system? Number 5, what challenges do you see in bringing these reforms? Number 6, In what ways can you contribute to advancing these reforms? Walk the way. Anyone that adheres to the Straight A Guide can go from struggle to success. But it's one thing to know the way, it's quite another thing to walk the way. While in prison, neither Sean Hopwood nor the people I profiled in earlier lessons knew what challenges they would face after release. They needed to prepare, to get ready to overcome challenges. They needed to define success with values and set clear goals. Time in prison taught many lessons to people like Halim Flowers, Tommy Walker, Sean Hopwood, and others. All of us can learn from those lessons. By sharing lessons, we hope to inspire others. To overcome the challenges of our life, we must walk the way of masterminds. It's not for everyone. As I write these lessons, I'm reminded of reading about an interview with James Patterson. Mr. Patterson has authored dozens of novels and sold millions of books. During an interview, a journalist asked Patterson to respond to critics. Some of those critics accused Patterson of not being a very good literary stylist. The journalist asked Patterson how he would respond. "I'm not a very good literary stylist," he said. "There are millions of people that don't like how I write. Fortunately, a few million people do." As one of the best-selling authors of all time, Patterson didn't need other people to define his success. Sales made his success self-evident. But there would always be people who disagreed with his approach. Those disagreements didn't matter because he defined success and pursued it with 100% commitment. Similarly, not everyone will agree with the Straight A Guide's message of hope and self-reliance. Likewise, not everyone agrees with the efforts we make to advance more pathways for people in prison to earn freedom through merit. That's okay. We all must carve our own path. We want our participants to define their success and their path to success, and we're confident that anyone can reach a higher potential by following a principled approach. Getting out of prison. I will never forget the day my wife drove me from the prison in Atwater to the halfway house in San Francisco. With 25 years of prison behind me, I had to serve 6 more months in a halfway house, followed by 6 months of home confinement. After 9,500 days, I would conclude my obligation to the Bureau of Prisons. Then I would start my term of supervised release. My wife and I talked about the career I wanted to build. I told her a message that I have lived by since I first read about Frederick Douglass. I want to make an impact on the world by helping people who live in struggle. Leaders taught me how to create meaning and relevance, and I want to share those lessons. It doesn't matter if they're in school, in prison, or struggling in other areas of their lives. We can reform systems to create better outcomes for people. To earn trust from people, I needed proof. People had to believe the strategies would lead to their success. I told my wife I committed to building assets worth at least $1 million within 5 years of release. By achieving that goal, I believe people would be more inclined to accept my message's potency. They would accept that they could become more successful if they pursued this path. I have been on this path with a mindset of success since I began my prison term, and I'm still on it today. I connect with participants through words, photographs, and videos. Through those efforts, I strive to show my authenticity. But neither the digital assets nor the live presentations show how many hours I must devote to this daily effort. No one can see the incremental progress or investment I must make to create courses. I could not complete any of this work if I did not begin in prison and follow the Straight A Guide path daily. Think it through. On the day that I left prison, I was behind with technology. When I went to jail, the internet didn't exist. I never sent or received an email. I did not know how to create a video or publish it online. I didn't know how to use technology that would allow me to develop products. I had to purchase computer equipment and software. Once I had the equipment, I needed to invest thousands of hours learning how to use it. Each day, I had to invest time to learn. A deliberate adjustment in prison prepared me to accelerate progress. I create products. Then I must find a market for those products. Judges, U.S. attorneys, and prison leaders are not so willing to purchase products from a man that served multiple decades in prison. After all, until February 23, 2017, I was still on parole. Participants who have access to the books I wrote will see that I did not begin this path on a whim. I have been committed to sharing this message for decades. If you do not have access to the books, your family members can easily find them at prisonprofessors.com. Those books will show my decisions through prison. They also will show strategies I used to overcome challenges since my release. I hope that you will see by adhering to the Straight A Guide principles, I am authentic. Authenticity and appreciation. When we're authentic, it is easy to appreciate the blessings that have come our way. Living in gratitude brings more blessings, empowering others along the way. Every day opens an opportunity for further growth and fulfillment. Masterminds plant seeds and they nurture gardens. Consider the metaphor. By enriching the soil, caring for plants, removing weeds, and caring for details, we allow gardens to thrive. Masterminds invest energy in building great gardens. They see the value of creating strong networks. To build robust networks, they invest in others that prove worthy. Those investments bear fruit, bringing more value. People can show appreciation for blessings that come their way. They give time, energy, or resources, making their commitment to success full circle. They create more success for more people and live more fulfilling lives. Maps of success. Masterminds give us their map. Observe and learn from the principled approach to life that leaders show us. We see how to chart our course to success as we define success with our values and goals. Arriving at our success begins with our preparation. Commit by following the map. Think of this concept as preparing for a transatlantic journey. Years may pass before we reach our destination. Yet we know the value of the choices we make every day. Choices will either bring us closer or lead us farther away. If we're beginning our journey on the other side of the world and want to come home, we need to consult this map. This map helps us stay the course. We know that we'll face storms of adversity along the way. But by staying the course, we also know that we will reach our destination. Each lesson has value, including this final lesson on appreciation. What is the concept of appreciation? Struggles anywhere can lead to a culture of negativity. Negativity can pull a person under the current. At any given moment, storms threaten to sink spirits. Accept the principled path of masterminds to triumph over the pull that drags down so many. Use the strategy as a compass. To reach your destination, anticipate darkness. You'll face rough seas, even hurricanes. Use the strategy as your map and your compass. The concepts will lead you to calmer seas and advance you along your course. Stay true to the values by which you profess to live. Always set short and long-term goals. Proceed with your 100% commitment to success. Never lose sight of your aspiration. Pursue aspiration as the days turn into weeks, the weeks turn into months, and the months into years. Seize every opportunity for productive actions that align with your definition of success. Your action steps will open further opportunities for growth. Hold yourself accountable. Live transparently, inviting others to hold you accountable. Keep your head in the game. Become aware of new and exciting ways to accelerate your progress. Others will become aware of your pursuit of excellence. They will invest in you. Celebrate every achievement. Be authentic. Express gratitude and appreciation for the blessings that come your way. And invest in community renewal, helping those around you to reach their highest potential. This strategy will influence the friends you choose, the activities you pursue, the mentors you bring into your life, the way that people in authority treat you, the gradual improvements in your living conditions, the employment opportunities you open, the language you use to communicate, the time you devote to your fitness, the books that you read, the skills that you develop, the relationship you build with your family and loved ones, the resources you can draw upon, the way that you use those resources, the support network that believes in you, your access to credit and investors, your access to business opportunities, and your reputation. Gambler or investor, which are you? Living in struggle may influence your perspective. I encourage you to introspect. Consider whether you want to live as a gambler or as an investor. Either way, you make a choice. A gambler may play the odds and live by chance, while an investor thinks more strategically. An investor assesses the landscape and surroundings, then determines the best way to deploy resources. Both gamblers and investors have opportunities to win, but those who think strategically succeed at a far higher level. The greatest gamblers operate more like investors and minimize chance by training to read signs and clues. They place their bets using a skill set that they develop over time. What factors influence their decisions? They look at every data point that comes their way. With sports betting, they want to know big picture issues like weather patterns and soil conditions. They also want to know minute issues like rosters and injury lists and statistics of personal athletes. The more they know, the better they can place their bets. Investors take the same approach, considering as many data points as possible when making decisions. They evaluate price-earnings multiples, and they look at year-over-year sales growth. Investors want insight into equity returns and assess the organization's overall competency. Data points make investors more confident to put money on the line. Whether you live as a gambler or an investor, make good decisions. Always acknowledge the stakes with your life, liberty, and future at stake. Take a big picture view and assess what you can do now. Then set priorities that are consistent with your values and goals. Remember that the right decision at the wrong time is the wrong decision. Big picture perspective. The big picture perspective for people in prison is ugly. Statistics show that 7 out of every 10 people in prison face challenges when they get out. They struggle to find employment and face challenges in finding permanent housing. Some have trouble with substance abuse. Strategies in this course helped me overcome my problems, and I'm convinced the techniques can help others. But each must decide. We wish you success. And take this opportunity to develop yourself with critical thinking exercises. Here's a question, for example. In what ways would living in gratitude influence your prospects for success upon release? Now, as always, I am leaving up there on the screen our address for anybody who wants to write us. And those who want to start profiling their pathway to success, send an email to us at interns@prisonprofessorstalent.com. It's a way for you to profile your success, and we want you to start doing so as soon as possible. That way you might get an outcome like the guy I spoke about in this lesson. It was Sean Hopwood. I told you about his efforts at preparing himself to become a lawyer, but also at influencing the First Step Act. And what I'd like to splice in right now is a little video of him at the White House with the president when they signed that act. So stand by.
A good friend, and also a man who has served time in federal prison, but today he's with us, and he's now a professor of law at a place called Georgetown University, and one of his students happens to be my daughter, Tiffany. So Sean, hey, could I ask Sean to come up, please? Where is Sean? Are you here? Where is Sean? Sean, come up. Is my daughter okay as a student?
She is.
She better be.
It's fun to get to come back here. The one thing I realized when we worked on First Step was I got to meet a lot of really cool people, and we worked on this together, and I have become friends with so many of you. It's astonishing to me that so many people want to come work and help people that are in prison. Because when you're in prison, it feels very lonely, and there's not a lot of hope. And now there is more hope in the federal system than there ever has been at any point since I have been watching. And that's because of the work that everybody in this room has done. Thank you for helping people like me. Thank you for giving second chances. I think you are going to be rewarded in a way that you cannot even imagine when we get more people like my friend Matthew Charles, who, by the way, came over to our house last night for dinner. And you know what my daughter said?
What?
My 7-year-old daughter said, "Dad, how do I talk to Matthew? He's so famous." So thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership on this. You have gotten things done that has taken decades of work from a lot of people in this room, and to see the fruits of your labor, it's just amazing to watch. Thank you, sir.
Keep up the work.
You see, it's never too early and it's never too late to begin sowing seeds for success. You've got to start now because that's what's going to influence your future. The earlier you start, the better off you are going to be. And as you see, I never ask anyone to do anything that we didn't do. We believe in a methodical plan. Define success. Set clear goals. Make sure that you have the right attitude. Make sure that you aspire to something more than where you are right now. Make sure that you take incremental action steps. Hold yourself accountable. Make sure that you stay aware of opportunities and keep your head in the game, and that way more people will become aware of you. Be authentic. Develop your own tools, tactics, and resources that will lead you to success. Make sure that you celebrate every incremental achievement. And number 10, live in a state of gratitude, showing your appreciation for the blessings that come your way. I can tell you, I am super grateful to all of you for participating in the Preparing for Success After Prison course, because the more people we can show how to build pathways to success, the more successful we will become in persuading administrators and legislators to change policies and laws that open more mechanisms for people to earn their way to freedom. I am Michael Santos, founder of Prison Professors. I am grateful to Edovo for allowing us to communicate with you. Grateful to the Bureau of Prisons, the California Department of Corrections for allowing me to come into these institutions, even if it's through video. It takes a lot of courage to let somebody with my criminal background into institutions, and I do it because I believe in you. I'm Michael Santos. I believe in you. Thanks.